this three-time Super Bowl champion and this Hall of Famer who emphatically stated to me over the phone how innocent he is of these allegations that have been levied against him, insisting repeatedly that anything you read, anything you see, anything you hear was fully and totally consensual.
Football Hall of Famer and broadcaster Shannon Sharpe says he's stepping aside from his job at ESPN in light of new allegations. On Sunday, a woman filed a $50 million civil lawsuit in the state of Nevada.
Knowing that audio was probably going to come out along with additional tapes, whether they be video or audio is unclear at this particular moment in time, Shannon Sharpe felt compelled to come out in his own defense. In my perfect world, he moves on. And somehow, some way, we find this all to be false. But it doesn't seem like that's the way things are about to go down, considering who Mr. Busby is.
You sharing text messages, that's just sharing too much. We didn't want to hear about nobody getting hogtied in your bedroom and your salad getting tossed while you wearing a collar. It's too much.
Stephen A. Smith is sitting back and grinning right now because Shannon Sharpe just fumbled the biggest bag of his career. Word on the street is ESPN has completely cut ties with Shannon after not one, not two, but at least 3 more women came forward accusing him of some seriously disturbing behavior. And insiders are now whispering that Shannon might already be blacklisted from the network for good. But here's the twist. Fans ain't riding for Shannon this time. In fact, folks online are saying he's getting exactly what he asked for.
And just one more thing about Mr. Sharpe. Not so sharp, clearly. It is my theory, just my opinion, my theory, not fact, my opinion. I think all of this RACE rhetoric that was in those text messages started with him. It started with him. It's becoming more and more clear to me, in my opinion, that he has a race fetish. He has a fetish for that type of dynamic. Think about it. This was a 19-year-old white woman when he met her. I don't know any 19-year-old white woman that's running around hollering about a big black baby and baby gravy. Shannon was a 54-year-old big black grown man from the backwoods of Georgia. Gravy sound like some he's familiar with. Big black babies, he probably seen a few in his day. Born in the backwoods of Georgia where he grew up with his grandma and all the other folks. But I just don't think that came from her. Now, is she repeating it back in those text messages? Yes. That's why he released her messages, not his. Peep that. Okay? We haven't seen what his responses was. And I guarantee you, when they post those messages, y'all gonna see. All of that race started with him. It's a fetish. And he could only play that kind of stuff out with a young girl. He couldn't, like Monique was trying to tell him, get an older gal. Older gal ain't going for that. They was going to immediately know he was a freak and a weirdo. A 19-year-old don't know no better. That's why she repeating it back to him, because he said it to her first. Older men, that's why they tend to want to be with younger women. They're more impressionable. They can mold them. They can shape them to be what they want them to be. Do what they want them to do. You let him come to a 40 or 50-year-old woman talking about put a big black baby and baby gravy. We gonna be looking like, what's wrong with you? Yeah, that started with him. Mark my words. It's going to come out. But that race stuff started with Shannon.
This whole mess is one of the wildest scandals we've seen in a while, and it just keeps getting uglier. So what went down? Shannon Sharpe was out here trying to play sugar daddy to a young OnlyFans model. A girl folks are saying is young enough to be his grandbaby. He really thought he had control of the situation. He thought he was running game. But in reality, Shannon was the one getting played hard. Turns out it wasn't just about the money he was tossing around. No, this thing went way darker. The girl reportedly exposed him for some twisted race play, role play, and the internet is straight up disgusted. People are calling it disturbing, vile, and straight up humiliating.
Shannon Sharpe, we want out of the group chat now. Like right now, because it's getting disgusting and you need to act your age. First, we had to hear the audio from when you accidentally went live. that absolutely nobody asked for. We could have went our whole lives without hearing that. Then you started doing infomercials about ED pills. And now you sharing text messages that's just sharing too much. We didn't want to hear about nobody getting hogtied in your bedroom and your salad getting tossed while you wearing a collar. It's too much. At what point do you say you just too old? He like that old grandfather that every time he come around, he want to tell you about all the women he got. And when everybody else is talking, he want to talk like he's still in his 20s and he hanging out with the young folks. Pack it up. You just too freaked out at your old age. And we don't want to know about, we truly don't want nothing to do with it. Please, why didn't you just share that in the courts? Share it with the lawyers. Why did we need to see that? Sick of him.
And that ain't even the worst part. Receipts have now hit the internet, text messages, audio clips, full-on recordings where Shannon can allegedly be heard saying he wanted to choke this woman in public. The kind of stuff no PR team in the world can clean up his whole reputation down the drain.
Well, what, Gabby?
Well, you're coming to LA tomorrow?
Yes.
Well, I don't know why you want to go out.
Don't worry about it, Gabby.
Well, okay.
Okay, what?
Well, I'm not really interested in getting choked, so I guess we're going.
Yeah. I might choke you in public. Big black guy chokes small white woman.
It's not a good look, Shannon.
Not a good look that you did what you did to me.
Okay, well...
Well, what?
And it gets messier. Shannon's reportedly tried to offer her millions in hush money before the scandal broke, which means he knew just how wild the skeletons in his closet were. But this girl, she wasn't going anywhere. She played the long game and let everything unravel at the perfect time. Now everybody's dragging Shannon, even Stephen A. Smith himself. Folks can't believe a man pushing 60 is still out here chasing OnlyFans clout and making reckless choices like he's brand new to the fame game. People close to him like Cat Williams and Monique allegedly tried to warn him too. They've been saying these younger girls will line you up quick if you're not smart. And now Shannon's learning that the hard way.
You don't need no 26-year-old girl. You don't need no 36-year-old girl. This is your auntie talking to you. Take your ass and get your old out there that can love you old. You're trying to hang out with these young and you can't do it, Shannon. You just can't do it.
Told you. I told you. I told you. You ain't tell me.
Shannon Sharpe really thought this was all a joke, laughing it off like it couldn't touch him. But now he's watching his money dry up, his TV deals vanish, and whatever dignity he had left just evaporate in front of everyone's eyes. Meanwhile, Stephen A. Smith is somewhere chuckling to himself, pretending like he's sympathetic, but we all know he's low-key, enjoying this downfall. Sure, he gave a concerned statement, but behind that poker face, he's loving that Shannon's out the paint.
All of us have someone to answer to. No matter how maverick we try to be, and we own our own business, and we're our sole proprietors like I am on this platform and stuff like that. There are advertisers, there are sponsors, there are people you do business with, there are partners, and there are bosses.
And believe it or not, this story is just getting started. Let's dig deeper. Shannon Sharpe just lost his spot at ESPN, and it's looking real bad. Now, for the folks who don't realize how major that is, ESPN ain't some local cable station. It's backed by Disney, the same mega corporation that pushes family-friendly, squeaky clean branding all over the world. You really think Disney was gonna let a scandal like this slide? As soon as those accusations hit the web, the leaked texts, the lawsuits, the raceplay mess, and let's not forget the part where the woman involved is a 19-year-old OnlyFans model, Disney moved fast. They immediately started wiping their hands of Shannon. They didn't even flinch. And let's be real, ESPN has dealt with their fair share of drama before, but this right here was on a whole other level.
I know this place. I know the worldwide leader that is ESPN, who's under the umbrella of Disney. And it wasn't difficult for me to figure out what was transpiring. They didn't need any definitive evidence at this particular moment in time about all of that stuff. Once all the things Shannon Sharpe's lawyer put out there, it was uncomfortable to listen to. And it was not something that Walt Disney once associated with its brand. So to have him on the airwaves while all of that stuff was put out there was not something that Disney was going to take. That is what I mean when I say I'm not surprised.
The combination of explicit texts, race controversy, and disturbing allegations was way too chaotic for Disney to even try to patch up. Shannon might have thought he could sweep it under the rug with some PR magic, but when a scandal includes all that, that's a straight-up brand killer. Then came April 24th. Shannon tried to control the narrative. He released a statement saying he was temporarily stepping away from ESPN and that he planned to return in time for NFL preseason. Cute story, but behind the scenes, that's not what really went down. Insiders are saying Shannon didn't walk away, but he got shoved. ESPN apparently let him announce it like it was his choice just to save face. But according to folks deep in the building, they had already made up their minds. Shannon was out, period. In fact, it's now being revealed that Shannon is unofficially banned from the network. Like, they don't even want his name mentioned in the same sentence as ESPN anymore. He's out the circle completely. And right on cue, Stephen A. Smith slid into the spotlight.
I recruited Shannon. I went and got him and brought him to ESPN. But I'm not the boss. Those are other folks. There are layers to this, and there are certain layers even I am not on. I can tell you, I also spoke to co-chairman of Disney, the boss, Jimmy Pitaro, who made it very, very clear we are taking this matter very seriously, and we are looking into this very, very closely. In my perfect world, he moves on. And somehow, some way, we find this all to be false.
As the executive producer and top commentator on First Take, Stephen used his platform to act all concerned. He got up there and gave this whole dramatic speech, pretending like he was hurt for Shannon, but come on, everybody saw through that performance. Stephen knows exactly what this means for him. Stephen A. Smith tried to act like he felt sorry for Shannon, but if you really listen to what he said, he was basically giving a eulogy for Shannon's career, talking like the man's whole media run is already dead and gone.
But it doesn't seem like that's the way things are about to go down, considering who Mr. Busby is and how emphatic his client is proclaiming that she is right and she's telling the truth. I have no idea what direction ESPN and Walt Disney will go in when it comes to this matter. All I do know is it won't be me making a decision. It'll be others upstairs. In the end, all of us have someone to answer to. No matter how maverick we try to be, and we own our own business, and we're our sole proprietors like I am on this platform and stuff like that. There are advertisers, there are sponsors, there are people you do business with, there are partners, and there are bosses. That's the situation, unfortunately, that Shannon Sharpe finds himself in.
And Stephen didn't stop there. Right after the news broke about Shannon stepping away from ESPN, Stephen jumped back on his platform, doubling down on what everybody was already thinking. He made it clear, Disney don't play when it comes to their image. Once they stamp you as a liability, that's it. No second chances, no comeback tour, you're out. Stephen even pointed out how those text messages Shannon dropped from the OnlyFans girl, that was a huge mistake. Instead of helping his side, those messages made it worse. Disney saw those receipts and said, nope, we're done. That was the final straw. ESPN wanted his name gone immediately, and here's where it got real shady. Stephen threw low-key shots at Shannon, calling him reckless and careless at his age, like he should have known better. He basically said Shannon let his urges destroy everything, his money, his name, and any future media doors that might have opened. Stephen said it without saying it. How do you let a 19-year-old play you like that? A grown man, almost 60, letting someone fresh out of high school flip his whole career upside down? It's embarrassing. Then Stephen tried to soften it up, saying he wasn't talking specifically about Shannon, that he was speaking in general about people who act like they're untouchable and above the rules.
A lot of people want to walk around thinking you can do what you want to do when you want to do it. You could your own operation. You don't have to answer to anybody. That's not true. I've had people open their mouth and they've said, Stephen A., you work for ESPN. What kind of control do you really have? This is my podcast. This is my YouTube show. I own this. But if you think for 1 second that I could just do what I want to do, when I want to do it, how I want to do it, and there's not going to be any repercussions, you're clueless. And you're destined to fail and fall on your face. Some people sit up there and they look at me and they say, Stephen A. don't get himself in this kind of trouble. How does he pull it off? Well, first of all, there's certain behaviors and proclivities that you never have to worry about me engaging in. But most importantly than that, I often say this about Walt Disney. I'd rather work for a place with standards than one looking for them.
But come on, everybody knew exactly who he meant. Every word of that speech lined up with Shannon's mess perfectly. And that's why fans weren't buying the sympathy act. Nobody's feeling sorry for Shannon now. The general vibe is he's way too old to be acting brand new to how this game works. Folks are saying he was always quoting his grandma, preaching wisdom and self-control, but clearly he wasn't taking any of her advice himself. But Shannon didn't just ignore his grandma's advice. He also brushed off warnings from people in the industry who tried to school him before things blew up. Remember when Cat Williams sat down on Club Shay Shay last year and flat out told Shannon to be careful dealing with white women? Cat said loud and clear, that kind of situation can get you into real trouble.
That was ready for that.
And the wild part, Cat's warning wasn't just general advice. It was almost a prophecy. Based on the lawsuit timeline, Shannon was already messing with that OnlyFans model when Cat said that. Cat wasn't just talking. He was sending a signal, but Shannon didn't listen. Then came Monique. Shortly after Cat's interview went viral, she came on Club Shay Shay too and told Shannon straight up, get with someone your own age. These weird age gaps ain't. And here's where it gets downright spooky. There's a clip going viral of Shannon saying, I'd go to hell for $50 million. He said it with his whole chest. Guess what? The devil must have heard him loud and clear because now his accuser, Gabriela Zuniga, is suing him for exactly $50 million. You can't make this up. But this scandal ain't just about a messy age gap, it's deeper than that. According to the lawsuit, and the text messages Shannon himself put out there, he was allegedly into some twisted bedroom fantasies. Stuff that involved racial role play, and insiders are saying Shannon was the only one requesting all that sick content.
Girl, let's get this party started. Lay it on me.
Get your black over here, buckwheat.
Okay, come straight out the gate with it.
Yeah,
Right.
I know that's what you like to be called, ain't it? Buckwheat. Now stop flapping them gigantic lips and use them for what they're supposed to use to, not talking to their superiors. I see you shucking and jiving out in them fields, and I want a piece. That's all you're good for,
so
a piece of meat. You walk like you be wading in the water. Ooh, if my daddy and his friends saw you, or they take you out so quick.
Because, he be looking at me.
I know you want some of this fat back that I got. Make your lips all greasy, I know.
I think
what's the matter? I thought we was just race playing. I thought you liked it.
Let's be real. This wasn't no romantic relationship. That girl was reportedly being paid, doing what she was told like an ex-worker. But somewhere along the way, things got ugly. Now, whether she came in with a setup plan from day one or she backed out and Shannon didn't respect the switch, either way, this whole thing looks real dirty for Shannon. Now, here's where it really starts getting wild and dirty. Based on the receipts Shannon himself released, it's looking like he paid this girl to act out his fantasies. In one of the leaked texts, Gabriela mentioned Shannon paying her $25,000 per cheek. Yeah, you read that right, per cheek. But even that ain't the wildest part. Gabriela was also sending Shannon some off-the-wall texts, saying stuff like she wanted him to put something up, and even that she wanted to put her tongue in his. Well, you get the idea. The whole exchange was next level strange. But here's what's making fans raise eyebrows. This girl was 19. Let's be real. It's looking like she wasn't into Shannon like that. Folks are saying she was just doing what she got paid to do.
Race play, Shannon Sharpe. Race play? I didn't even want to talk about this. But the more videos I scroll past talking about Shannon Sharpe and this relationship that he had with this 19-year-old. And honestly, I was just assaulted by this information. I didn't know anything about it. And I'm scrolling, minding my business, and I see a deluge of text messages that he released from this girl that are weird and with an obvious race fetish. And it's not just her with the race fetish. He obviously was turned on by these conversations as well. And he only released what she was saying. Put a big black baby in me. Oh my gosh. I can't believe. I wouldn't be surprised if she was calling him the N-word during coitus. He's into that. And if this man is turned on sexually by being racialized in such a weird way.
And let's not forget, Shannon only leaked her messages. He conveniently left out what he was texting her. Why is that? That's why people online are piecing it together now. They believe all that wild talk from Gabriella was just her responding to Shannon's sick requests, especially the twisted race play stuff. They're saying he was the one pushing that narrative from the jump. Now, whether everything between them was fully consensual from start to finish, or if things spun out of control, that's up to the courts to figure out. But one thing everybody agrees on, Shannon is not looking good in this mess at all. Then came the real bombshell. Gabriella's lawyer, Tony Busby, dropped an audio recording, and it's explosive. In it, you can hear Shannon literally threatening to choke her and saying he'd do it in public. Fans were shocked. The whole clip is straight up disturbing. Now, to be fair, the audio sounds like some kind of role play on both sides. Some parts sound scripted, almost like Gabriella was trying to bait Shannon into saying outrageous stuff. But even if that's true, the fact that Shannon sounded like he was into it, that made things 10 times worse. Even if she set him up with the freaky talk, he walked right into the trap. And now she's flipping the script saying it wasn't consensual. At the end of the day, people aren't siding with Shannon because they feel like he set himself up. A grown man pushing 60, letting a 19-year-old finesse him like this. Now she's got recordings, receipts, and a $50 million lawsuit locked and loaded. Fans are saying the same thing. He has nobody to blame but himself. The level of denial, lack of self-control, and straight up ego in this whole situation is wild. And if you thought it couldn't get more outrageous, Shannon actually tried to play the successful black man being targeted card. He went as far as comparing himself to Jay-Z, claiming that attorney Tony Busby only goes after rich black men.
To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine.
But here's the thing, even if Shannon has a point about Busby's pattern, people online ain't letting him slide. They're calling him out left and right, saying he's got no business trying to pull the race card right now, especially when he's the one who paid a white woman to racially degrade him in twisted roleplay sessions. Like, seriously, how you gonna scream racial targeting when you literally invited that type of treatment in your own bedroom? The math ain't mathing. And it gets messier. Shannon tried to warn folks ahead of time that Busby might drop a private tape that plays into every stereotype about black men. But let's be real, Shannon's the one who created that stereotype moment himself. He ain't a victim of it. He walked right into it, set the scene, and hit record. He went from tossing money at a 19-year-old white woman for degrading, racially charged play to suddenly claiming he's under attack because he's a black man. The internet isn't buying that flip, not one bit. In fact, Shannon's community cause angle is getting dragged all over social media. Instead of support, the timeline is flooded with jokes, memes, and straight-up clowning about this race play disaster. People are saying you can't demand respect while doing disrespectful things to yourself. And let's talk about those text messages again. The ones Shannon dropped trying to control the narrative backfired big time. Fans are pointing out how this ain't the first time Shannon's been caught being weird and that this whole poor me act is tired. They say he's not being targeted, he's just getting exposed. So now it's your turn to weigh in. What do you think about this whole Shannon Sharpe scandal? Is he truly being unfairly targeted? Or did he dig his own grave by making reckless decisions and thinking he was untouchable? And let's talk about ESPN. Do you think Disney made the right move cutting him off completely, or should they have handled it differently? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more deep dives, and hit that bell so you don't miss the next one. We've got more scandals, more drama, and more stories they don't want you to hear. See you in the next one.